How to raise a GST invoice. How is it different from your current invoices? Learning objectives. What is a GST invoice? How is it different from your current invoice? What is the time limit for issuing invoices? How many copies of the invoices will be required? How to revise an invoice issued and accounted for. How to raise invoices compliant with GST. What is a GST invoice? If you supply goods or services to another taxable person under GST, you are required to issue a GST invoice in the prescribed format. There are two types of invoice issued under GST. Taxable invoice, which is issued to pass GST credit. Bill of supply, which is issued when the supply is exempted or the supplier is under composite scheme. That is, no GST credit is passed on. How is it different from your current invoice? The serial number should be a consecutive number containing only alphabets and/or numerals and must be unique for a financial year. If the recipient is unregistered and taxable value of supply is Rs 50,000 or more, the state name and code are required. In case of interstate supply, the state name is required. Unique ID is issued to UN bodies, embassies, or any other notified persons. Taxable value is the value after deducting discount or abatement if any. HSN code, in case of goods, or accounting code, in case of services, has to be mentioned for supplies by notified persons. What is the time limit for issuing invoices? If you are offering services, GST invoice must be raised within 30 days of offering services. If you are selling goods, invoice must be raised at the time of removal of goods from your premises. How many copies of the invoices will be required? If you are offering services, 2 copies of the invoice are required. 1 for recipient and 1 for supplier. If you are selling goods, 3 copies of the invoice are required. 1 for recipient, 1 for supplier, and 1 for the transporter. How to revise an invoice issued and accounted for. An invoice can be revised by issuing a subsequent debit or credit note. Debit note has to be issued in cases where the taxable value of the invoice has to be increased. Credit note has to be issued in cases where the taxable value of the invoice has to be decreased. How to raise GST compliant invoices. To issue professional GST invoices and make compliances easier, you will have to adopt superior next general technology. If you have been using plain accounting software now, it's time to upgrade. Move to Reach Accountant, the preferred online accounting software, which helps you raise professional GST invoices and calculates GST automatically. For more details, visit reachaccountant.com.